my hair is falling out.
You're special and you're reckless. Remember, you're my bestest friend. Yeah, she's my bestie.
Hey queens, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be tackling the topics surrounding my hair loss as well as my decision to shave my head. Those are two topics that are long overdue and I am finally ready to share them with you. Now, just as a disclaimer, any information that I am sharing in today's video is not intended to be a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice from your physician or any other medical professional about your medical condition. All right, I'm gonna put a lengthier disclaimer down below just in case you want to reference that. Now, just as a side note, if you are here to be negative, to be nasty, or disrespectful, please exit the video now. Any negative comments will be located and deleted and you will be blocked.
Bruh.
Let's dive into the conversation. Now, I do want to let you guys know I have an outline in front of me of some information and some topics that I want to make sure that I cover in this video. So if you see me looking down, that is why. So I'm basically here today to really be open and honest and as transparent as possible about my hair loss. I feel like there is so much information that I could include in here, but I'm really going to try to make this short and sweet. And I'm going to also insert images and documentation and videos as well just to support me in this conversation. Things to reference to put it into perspective, if that makes sense. Okay, so the first topic we're going to talk about today is hair loss. Now, thankfully, I've got this platform as well as my Instagram to really reference and pinpoint approximately when I started having the hair loss issue, when I started to experience shedding, all of that. You know when you see a picture or a video and you remember exactly what you were doing in that moment, you know, feelings that you felt, emotions, just all of that. That is what I'm looking for. Those are the triggers that I'm looking for as I'm scrolling through my Instagram. All right, so I'm on my Instagram right now on my phone, and as I'm scrolling down, what actually piqued my interest first is okay, so I did a perm rod set, right? And the perm rod set came out absolutely gorgeous. But I just remember in that moment really struggling with the top portion of my hair just because it wouldn't fluff properly. And I noticed that it was slightly thinner. Like, it wasn't a drastic difference in the thickness of my hair at the top, but it was noticeable to me in that moment. So as I'm looking at this picture, as I'm looking at this video, I just remember, you know, that moment where, you know, something kind of felt off, but I just really couldn't pinpoint it. So I just, you know, kept it moving. Now, if we fast forward a little bit to my fluffy twist out video, that is when I actually started to experience an increase in my hair shedding, and it just really, it didn't get to the excessive point, but it was definitely noticeable for me at that point. And so what you cannot see is during the filming of that video, I actually struggled to really get my hair placed in the proper position because where it would normally fall, this hair at the top just wasn't cooperating. And most of the time when I was experiencing shedding, it was coming from this top portion of my head. So when I really look back at the video, I can see that my hair was slightly thinner just at the top portion. Now, of course, I was still getting, you know, minimal shedding around my hair, but most of the shedding came from this area here. So I grew a little bit concerned, and I thought that maybe it was a result of my own manipulation, or maybe I'm just doing too much. You know, maybe I need to slow down with, you know, what type of content I'm producing. Maybe I just need to stop touching my hair altogether. I had no idea what was going on. All right, now for months, I just completely dismissed the increase in shedding as like a cycle that my hair is going through. You know, maybe I need to pay more attention in this area. Maybe on my wash days, I need to slow it up. Maybe I need to stop manipulating my hair so much. So I started to really gravitate towards low manipulation hairstyles. I started to wear a bonnet every single night, and I made sure I had multiple options just in case, you know, one was dirty or, you know, whatever the case may be. But, you know, it was just a struggle, y'all. In every video after I started to notice that my hair was essentially falling out, I really had to figure out how I was going to structure the video. You know, I was going to show you an example on this side or on this side, but I was never going to show you an example up here. So if you are a loyal subscriber, those are some of the things you would have picked up on. Now, really, all of my hair loss issues started in June 2020, like right around when I did the perm rod set, and then it went on for a while before I actually really was alarmed and tried to figure out, okay, what's going on. I feel like if you've never had that issue and nobody in your immediate family has ever dealt with that issue, it's really hard for you to understand. And so for me, I just had so much difficulty really coming to the conclusion that my hair is falling out and there is something that I need to do, and I kind of just waited too late to really react. My hair had progressed so much to being very thick, to being really thin, and the minor shedding that I saw in the beginning really transitioned very strongly into excessive shedding. Alright, so that's when I started to get like male pattern baldness, where, you know, this was just thinning so much and there was nothing that I could do. Now, what I dreaded the most is after wash day, or, you know, at the end of your wash day, you like to document how much shedding you had. And at the end of my wash day, I had balls of shedding that were just larger than I ever had before. And so I was just really triggered in that moment. I had no idea what to do. I felt like I had just let everything get out of control. And that's when I really kind of just started to panic. During the day or anytime I had access to my hair and I was just able to really just kind of pull or, you know, just shrug on it a little bit, I would notice that it would just break. Like literally like a stick off the tree, it would break. Anytime I would pull my hair at the roots, I would get about 6 or 7 strands. Literally, I could see it visually in my hand. And it wasn't like, it was breakage, it was shedding, it was long hairs. It wasn't just small. So that's when I began to really panic and try to evaluate like what I've been doing for all these months and why I haven't taken this a little bit more seriously. So just to take it a little deeper, I was never bald, but my hair was basically growing out and breaking. So whatever new hair was coming in, the old hair was coming off, and that was just a cycle that continued for quite some time. It got to the point where my hair was just completely short right here and I could not do anything about it. It was dry. It was rough to touch. So anytime I would put a protective style in, I would have to take it out very shortly after, just because of the irritation and the itchiness that came along with something being close or sitting on my scalp. Alright, so needless to say, 2020 was just rough in so many ways for me, not to mention that I had to come up with so many tricks to really just kind of show you hairstyles without actually showing you the damage that had been done to my own hair, just because, you know, we're in the pandemic, everybody's at home. I'm trying to produce content to really get it out to you guys while you're just sitting, and hopefully maybe you decide not to watch TV, you decide to watch YouTube and I pop up on your screen. So just as a comparison, I actually found a video in my phone from January 2020 where I did a length check and my hair was very healthy. It was strong. I could see some growth from my mini big chop the previous year. So I just had nothing to worry about. I had no concerns at that point. So I knew early January 2020 my hair was healthy, and somewhere in the middle there, something went wrong. Alright, so you're able to see the comparison and see where my hair was and where it ended up, and so it really had me in a crazy unhealthy mental state. Okay, so I had a moment where I realized it's not anything to do with my own manipulation of my hair. It's not anything to do with the products that I am using. It has to be something else, and I just really didn't have any answers. So I decided to seek professional help with a dermatologist to really see if they can help guide me in the correct direction, because it was beyond me. So I went ahead and I went on ZocDoc to look for a dermatologist. I found one in my area that accepted my insurance, so I set an appointment and I was basically ready to go into the office. Okay, so fast forwarding to appointment day, you know, I'm really excited. I have to fill out all of this paperwork, but I'm like, I'm finally gonna get some of the answers that I've been looking for as far as what's been causing my hair loss. So I get into the appointment and, you know, I let her know, you know, this is what's been going on with me. This is some of the symptoms I've been experiencing. And she does an evaluation of my hair. Now, what I noticed and found like crazy is that she only did an evaluation on the top of my scalp. Now, mind you, I had told her I've been having an issue everywhere, but the main issue has been on my scalp. So maybe that's why she, you know, isolated that area and really only did that area. I don't know, but after her evaluation, she came back and basically said that my scalp looks healthy and that, you know, she can recommend some hair, skin, and vitamins, but she doesn't see anything that's alarming to her. In addition to that, she also said that the stress caused by the pandemic could also be causing the hair loss, and to really, you know, do things to improve my stress levels. Alright, so basically that's all I took from that appointment. I thought, okay, this is all in my head. I purchased the very expensive hair, skin, and vitamins. I am still continuing to take them to this day. Alright, so I'm driving in the car, and when I finally get home, I'm able to really play back the conversation and the evaluation in my head. And for me, it just really didn't sit right with me as far as what she was saying. but I kind of went along with it because I'm not a medical professional, so I didn't really want to question, you know, her evaluation. But the more research that I did, the more symptoms that I continue to have, even during taking the hair, skin, and vitamins, it just really felt like her evaluation was just lackluster, and she really did not dive deep enough into the conversation and really didn't do a full deep evaluation to really assess the entire situation. So I was just really bummed about that. I felt like it had been a complete waste of my time, and I just felt like with such a sensitive topic, she really could have tried to give me more options, you know, maybe things I needed to research when I got home, you know, maybe, you know, reach out to me if you have any more alarming issues. All right, so like I said, those symptoms continued even after that dermatologist appointment. So I decided to go see my primary care physician to see if they can maybe assist me in, you know, determining what's been causing my hair loss. So I make that appointment, and as I arrived in the office and she called me to the back, I noticed that, you know, she asked me about the hair loss and what's been causing it. So I go through this long spiel about my hair loss and how it's been, you know, what my symptoms are, everything associated with, you know, the journey that far. And she receives all of the information, and not once did she actually approach me to do an evaluation on my hair. I do think that it was a bit rude just because I did come in there for hair loss, and I felt like the least she could do is actually examine me to see if maybe she noticed something out of the ordinary on my scalp. But she was really reluctant to approach me, so I was kind of baffled at our interaction. All right, so I'm at a point where I'm in the office and I'm basically stuck because she is not giving me any information or any new information. She's listening to me talk, and she's kind of asking me questions based on what I'm telling her, as if she's kind of questioning the things that I'm telling her, as if, I don't know, maybe she thought it was in my head. So I finally just decided to cut the conversation because at some point I felt like it was not serving me, and so it was no purpose of me, you know, having that interaction with her. So I finally just requested a blood test just to see if my iron levels were low or if I had any immune deficiency problems that could possibly be causing or contributing to my hair loss. All right, so boom, I go to that office to get my blood drawn. Now mind you, anytime I'm getting my blood drawn, I have very, very tiny veins, so it's always extremely painful for me. But I went through it, and then about 3 or 4 days later, they gave me my results. So they said that I had low iron levels as well as low vitamin D levels, and both could contribute to hair loss. Okay, so after giving me that information, they prescribed me with pills, and I basically had to take those pills for 3 months, and then I'll go back and I'll see if my levels have returned to normal or not. So that 3-month appointment had not come yet, but I'll be sure to update you guys. Okay, so at this point I had one possible answer to what had been causing my hair loss, but I still felt like there was something else going on. Okay, so this is where I finally reached my research phase, where I am on Google, I am typing, just trying to figure out some possible disorders that are associated with hair loss. There were 3 common terms that I kept running into throughout my research, so I just want to discuss those 3 in general. Okay, so the first medical term, which is commonly known when it comes to hair loss, is a term called alopecia. So alopecia is defined as a sudden hair loss that starts with 1 or more circular bald patches that may overlap. Now there are numerous types of alopecias, but that's just the general definition. Now for me, because alopecia is associated with baldness, I really didn't take it into consideration in my case, just because I wasn't experiencing balding. I was more so experiencing just breakage and excessive shedding. Moving on. Okay, so the next term is called PCOS. Now PCOS, you really have to do your research on. All right, so PCOS is defined as a hormonal disorder that causes enlarged ovaries with small cysts on the outer edges. Now if you dive more into the definition surrounding PCOS and people who have PCOS, you will find that there is a lot more to PCOS than just having cysts. What I found as I dove deeper into my research on PCOS is that you don't necessarily have to have cysts for you to actually have PCOS. All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so when it came to PCOS, I wanted to really look at the symptoms to see what symptoms I actually had in common with the disorder. So here is the list of symptoms that I had in common with PCOS. And so that is why I actually took this into consideration when it came to my hair loss. overall, when I really dove deeper into this definition and everything that comes along with this disorder, I decided to eliminate it because it didn't quite fit the puzzle piece the way I felt it should. So I eliminated PCOS. So the last option that I looked at was something called telogen Epithelium. Now, telogen Epithelium is a very interesting term that I had never come across before, and I'm just going to pop up that definition here. Now, this is very interesting considering, you know, everybody going through the pandemic and how easily this could be triggered in someone. So telogen Epithelium is a reversible condition in which the hair falls out after a stressful experience. The stress pushes large numbers of follicles into a resting phase. Within months, those hairs fall out. Now, the types of stress that they list here are surgery, childbirth, serious illness. Of course, if you dig deeper into this, you can see that the other types of stress could be, you know, just a traumatic event that occurred in your life. Okay, so once again, I had to go back into 2020 and recall events that were extremely tragic or triggering to me. Now, I have two in particular that were very, very stressful, caused me a lot of anxiety and depression on top of the hair loss. So one of them is very personal, so I won't divulge what that is, but just know it really caused a lot of those issues that I just talked about. And the other issue that I ran into that a lot of people might have in common with me is COVID. So my battle with COVID was extreme for me just because anytime I would get sick, my immune system would bounce back very easily. And I noticed with COVID, I really struggled. I had all of the telltale symptoms of COVID, and I was basically bedridden for 4 days, and I was unable to take care of my kids. All right, and that's when my husband had to step in and help me with that. Okay, so after my research, I felt better because I had some answers to possible causes to my hair loss. However, I was still going through the daily struggle of seeing my hair fall out, seeing my hair shedding, and figuring out what to do about it. Okay, so after doing all of that research, I finally took a moment to really sit and think about what my options are in the next steps that I wanted to take. And that is when I started to run into like the constant feeling of maybe I need to just shave off my hair, do a big chop, something to really relieve some of the symptoms that I was having, some of the craziness that I was experiencing on a daily basis. So, okay, so once I got the okay from my husband, I figured I'd go ahead and film a video. However, I couldn't quite get everything set up just because of the mind space I was in. I knew this was something I was gonna do, and I just couldn't quite get everything to work technically. So I just went ahead and I went into the closet, grabbed my husband's clippers, and I started with the problem spot that had been the most concerning for me, that had been the most thin, and that had been causing me the most issues. So I went ahead and I just shaved my head right down the middle, and it felt amazing. So I went ahead and I just went around my entire head. I will insert some clips just because I did stop at some point to evaluate what was going on, and I had noticed a bunch of dry spots and craziness, so I just continued. All right, so May 5th, 2021 is when I shaved all of my hair off, and I do not regret it for a second. The moment that I shaved my hair off is when I felt the most relief. I felt all of my symptoms subside or minimize, and it just felt amazing. All right, so just to take it a little further, I did go ahead and remove my wig. As you can see, I've got a dry spot right here, and then if I turn around, you can see a couple more dry spots as well. So I'm trying to do it quick so my camera can like stay in focus. But this is what I have been dealing with. Now, for the most part, my hair did grow back, but this is how it's looking right now. Okay, so after shaving all of my head off, I was finally able to do my own evaluation in which I saw a lot of dry spots in my hair. I also saw some discolored areas that were concerning, and I was just trying to figure out why my scalp wasn't all the same color. And then lastly, I saw a ton of white dandruff that I really found concerning. All right, so I washed my hair, and basically my hair looked like this. But of course, you know, I still felt like at this point, okay, I have a clean slate to try and figure out if I can get another dermatologist to really dive deeper into this conversation with me and to finally evaluate my entire scalp. So I reached out to another dermatologist, got an appointment, and set that up. Okay, so I spoke to this dermatologist, and as I compared the two conversations, This dermatologist just really made me feel at ease. She made me feel like she was really trying to tackle the problem with me. This dermatologist did not make me feel rushed or weird in any way. She really made me feel like she was there to help. She went through terms that I actually ran across in my research, so I was really able to relate to some of the terms that she was throwing out. Okay, so after this dermatologist evaluation, she basically went through step by step what some possible causes to the hair loss could be. Now, the first being intelligent FDM, which I explained to you earlier, and basically I need to get a handle of my stress and just my highs and my lows. She also pointed out that there were various dry spots in my hair, and that in the back I also had a discolored spot, which she later basically said could be a possible scalp yeast infection. I was flabbergasted. I'm like, wait, hold on, what do you mean? When she said that, I was caught off guard. But I did my research and I can see how that could be a possible cause to my hair loss. All right, she also gave me some steroid foam that's going to help with the itching and flaking. So I've been doing that on a daily basis or whenever needed. And then she also gave me another foam. Okay, so I went to pick up my prescription from Walgreens, and what was helpful is that before leaving the office, she gave me a list of everything that I would be picking up, a definition of what it is so that I would know what to use it for. So the first being diflucan, which is for the scalp infection. That is a pill that I would take once daily for 2 weeks. She also gave me a foam steroid that I would take once daily as needed for itchy and flaky scalp. She also gave me something called ketoin. I'll pop it up on the screen, but I'm supposed to take that once daily, just for any dry patches or flakiness as well. And then she also suggested that I get a thyroid test as well as a shampoo that could possibly assist with getting fuller, thicker hair. So I haven't got the shampoo yet or the thyroid test, so those are still in the works. But everything else I've got and I've been using on a daily basis, and I've seen a drastic transformation in my hair. Just since I've shaved my hair off completely, I've seen a noticeable change in the appearance of my hair, and at this point I haven't been experiencing any shedding. Of course, only time will tell, but that is where I am right now. Okay, so just to wrap things up, I feel like this entire experience was just filled with a bunch of ups and downs, and I'm finally at a clear space where I'm just, accepting my reality. So I'm just so thankful to be in this space, to have clarity on this entire ordeal. And overall, I just want to thank you all so much for watching. I really hope that this video finds someone who is dealing with a similar issue and is so helpful to them. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.